All right. So Robert Dunbar here, been with the company 13 years, been a trainer for 6 years on the networking side, been a CDL trainer or business solutions trainer for going on 4 years, 100K ring earner, 250K ring earners on my team. Worked the networking side, worked the business solution side, group CDLP, all of that great stuff. So we know that LegalShield has some great products, some wonderful products to offer. But again, guys, you got to make sure that you know how to sell it, you know how to market it. You got your major, you got your minor. You're not jumping around. I talk to some of you guys every day, and it's like 1 week y'all networkers, the next week y'all business solutions, the next week y'all group, the next week y'all CDLP. So you got to pick a major and a minor and work that area and just kind of stay focused. So today, before we get into Q&A, I'm going to be going over that document that we just talked about. So everybody should have it either in their inbox or have gone to the Facebook page to pull it there. Remember, it's fillable, but you have to download it first. So if you go into when you download it, then pull it back up out of your computer, then you can type your info in there and then save it. And now it'll be saved with your info. That way you can take advantage of it. So why do we create documents like this? We create them so that you have something else to use in the field, so that you have current information, so that trucking companies and owner operators know that you know what's going on in the industry. So with that 2-page document it's talking about, which we call a lead magnet, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up real quick while we talking about it. That way, for those who still don't have it, you'll at least be able to see it here. All right, let me make it so I can share my screen. Where's my other me at? With my other me? Here I go. All right. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then you guys will be able to see this document here. All right, so here it is. Here's the document that we have, and it is called Fmcsa Warns. And what this document is talking about something that the Fmcsa is, well, I should say the FMCS is doing, because they're not the ones doing it. But for those who understand 3G and 5G, and if you don't understand it, it's really not a whole bunch to it to understand. Let me get whoever this is unmuted. Muted. Mute. If you know you're unmuted, if you can mute yourself, that'd be great. So what the document is for is, if you're familiar with 3G and 5G, eventually 5G is going to take over. It's not going to be any more 3G. So when there's no more 3G, if you have a cell phone or any other thing that's online that's using 3G, it will no longer be able to go online, because it won't be able to connect to the towers or whatever the case may be. Whether it's a cell phone or a video game or anything else you have that runs on internet or that uses the towers. So the ELDs actually use that stuff as well. So those truck drivers that are driving around with the ELD, for those that don't know what the ELD is an electronic log device, and that is the device that took over the paper logs. So for those that's been around long enough to know that they used to do the paper logs, when they started the ELD, that's now electronic way for the police officer or the state trooper or the DOT officer, whoever pulls that driver over, for them to kind of see, what they've been doing on their drive, whether they're doing their hours of service, and they can kind of calculate certain things like whether they've been driving too fast because they got to one one point from one point to another point too fast or whatever the case may be. So they look at that, but there has to be a manual in that vehicle so that that officer can use that ELD and understand how it works. So if they don't have that book in the car, that manual in the car, they can be cited for that. But it's a device that's working through online. So what happens is the machine is not with 5G, then it's not going to be in compliance, or it's going to fall out of compliance, or it's not going to work at all, because the same way your cell phone won't work if it's not 5G capable. Once everything switches over, that machine won't work, which means that it's not going to put forth the data that officer needs to see when they pull that driver over, which means that they're going to be cited for that. So the FMCSA has put out a warning to the carriers, letting them know, hey, you need to check with your ELD providers to make sure that yours will do 5G. So if that machine will do 5G when everything switches over, then they'll be fine. If that machine does not do 5G, then they're going to have to either upgrade their machine or switch their machine altogether so that it does 5G. So this just explains kind of what I explained. So I'm not going to read through it, obviously, on your own. See, on this document, right on the bottom of it, you can put your information here. You can type it in there, right? So you put the cursive type. You can put whatever you want to put, your email address, or your phone number, whatever you're gonna put, the email and phone number, whatever will fit there. You can put there. I have it in bold, and I think I have it on like 18 size font, so it should show at a decent size. And you can do that on both pages. The second page also will let you know what dates those carriers are going to be no longer offering 3G. So you see AT&T on February 22nd of next year, they're going to be the first person to move out of that 3G space to where you're not going to no longer be able to use 3G if you have AT&T after February 22nd. With Sprint 3G, if you're a Sprint customer as opposed to an actual T-Mobile customer, then it's going to be March 31st. If you're a Sprint LTE, then it's going to be June. And the reason why I have T-Mobile in parentheses, because like I'm a Sprint customer and then they bought them. So I'm still really Sprint, even though I'm T-Mobile. They still call, I'm still logging into my Sprint thing and everything else. So for me, my Sprint LTE would be June 30th, right? And then I have another cell phone that's Xfinity, and they're running on the Verizon tower. And so I'm December 31st for them. But you see T-Mobile, if you're a flat out T-Mobile customer, then 3G ends on July 1st, 2022. So that's going to be the same way with those machines. So if that machine in that vehicle is running on a Verizon tower, then if it doesn't go to 5G, then they're going to have to switch that machine out by December 31st of next year, not this year. So those dates are there so that you have an idea. Now, again, most safety managers, safety directors, things like that, they're going to be familiar with this. They should be, at least. They probably got a notification or something that's come through as a part of something that they're connected with that's letting them know this. But again, it's an icebreaker for you guys to use. It's something else that you can use in the field when you're prospecting. Will it work to get you leads? I call them lead magnets because I have my stuff set up where you click on it. When you guys know, because the ones that clicked on it in your email, you clicked on it, it gave you an opportunity to put your name and your email in there, and then you were able to download it. So I say lead magnets, like for those that don't know how to set up lead magnets, just text me or email me or something like that, and I'll talk to you about how to do that, because I have like a lead generation system I use so that I create lead magnets. That way you're collecting people's information. So one way you can use this document is if you got trucking companies that you're prospecting, right? You can send that to them as a way to just educate them, because you're already prospecting them anyway. Just use it to educate them. If it's a company that you haven't talked to in a while, re-engage with them by sending them an email and saying, hey, wanted to get this to you to make sure you know about these changes that were coming up. That's the way to open the door back up to talk to them, whether it's walk-in or email, however you want to do it, right? Because you can print this off and use it that way. Another way you can do it is you can go to different groups or places in social media or wherever you go where truck drivers are at online, because everybody's got different places. Some people are using LinkedIn, some people are using groups on Facebook, wherever you're at, and you can post it there with the link. So the whole idea of it being a lead magnet is if you do it like a lead magnet, as opposed to just putting the PDF online. So if you just drop this as a PDF, then they grab it. Well, guess what? You don't have their information. If you put it on there as a lead magnet and they click on it, and now they have to give you their email address, now that's a new prospect for you, right? So that's how I use these type of things. I use them as lead magnets, and setting it up as a lead magnet won't cost you anything. You just have to know how to do that in order for it to work. And when you do that, now you're collecting information. So me, I put this out there really today for you all. I sent an email and I put it on LinkedIn and I put it on Facebook. So I got 2 leads. I got a logistics company and I got a safety manager who both contacted me. I didn't even put it there for that reason. I literally put it there for you all to grab it. But I got 2 people to contact me because they saw that and they already reached out to me and they downloaded it. So I have their email address. So does it work? It absolutely works as a lead magnet, as long as you put educational things out there for people to get, because people will grab them. Now you have their information. Now you can kind of curate that lead by sending them more information in the future that's educational, but always follow the same educational rule, right? The same prospect rule, which is 80-20. You always want to do 80% education, 20% sales. So either send 4 educational emails and then 1 sales email, then 4, then 1 again, right? So you're doing 4 educational, then 1 sales, then 4 educational, then 1 sales, or you could do 8 educational, 2 sales, however you want to do it. 4 and 1 seems to work better because it breaks it up, but you don't want to just send a bunch of salesy emails all the time. You don't want to send somebody stuff with prices on it all the time. And the reason why I say that is because we've gotten in the habit of thinking that if we just consistently send people stuff, they're going to eventually buy. And to a certain extent, that is true. When they do find interest in it, they will buy. So I'm not saying that doesn't totally work, but I do more of attraction marketing. And I do more marketing where you educate people and make them understand that you know what you're talking about, that you can provide them with some kind of service. It does 2 things. 1, it makes them comfortable. The other thing it does is it says, like if I'm prospecting Sharanda, what that says is Sharanda is saying, well, this guy is informing me and educating me and I'm not even his customer. So how is he going to treat me once he knows that I'm his customer? So keep that in mind, guys. The 80-20 rule will work no matter what you're selling. I don't care whether you're selling a small business plan, whether you're recruiting, whether you're selling opening groups, whether you specialize in identity theft or the identity theft business plan. It doesn't matter what you're selling, guys. It doesn't matter what kind of product or service you offer. Even if you weren't LegalShield, it didn't matter. 80-20 is the rule. And if you follow that when you're prospecting, you'll convert more people over. Now, I like to make niche, however you want to say it, lead magnets materials because it makes people convert easier. So I do them for small business. I do them for different things. So those who work with me, some of you guys on the line actually work with me. So the ones that work with me, you guys know, like I'll make specific things. I'll make a flyer that says, if you're a small business owner that's been in business less than 24 months with less than 30 employees, here are 10 tax tips. What does that do for me? If Sharanda or Sharon or Clifford or Jim Hicks or anybody else clicks on that document and gives me their email by clicking on it, what does that tell me? Right? Why would somebody click on that document? And remember, they're not seeing the document, so they can't see anything but what's in the document as far as the content. So I'm going to put a short paragraph on, hey, look, here's a document or a lead magnet or a checklist, right? Or a resource guide. I use that kind of terminology. So I may put something online. I'll use Jim for an example. I'll put something online and it'll say, hey, if you're a small business owner with less than 30 employees and you've been in a business for less than 24 months, these 10 tax tips will assist you. If you click and download the document, it'll be a 2-page document with the 10 items on there, and you can take advantage of using those because tax season is coming up. Most of the time, a person that clicks on that document, that means that they have less than 30 employees and they've been in business less than 2 years. That lets me know where they're at. Now, when they're in my email list and I have them tagged because they clicked on that specific item, now I know when I'm prospecting them what to send them, right? So it's similar to Sharanda saying, ask questions when you're doing the presentation, when you're doing the DM appointment. You ask questions because now you know how to sell. That's the same thing I'm doing. I'm just doing it via the internet or email, or I'm doing it digitally, right? I'm making you categorize yourself And then now when I email things to you, I'm not emailing you things that I think may be of interest. I'm emailing you things that are specifically for you, right? So that's what you're doing when you're doing that. So just keep that in mind. You can use these documents. I'm going to be creating more and putting them out there for you guys. So I'll subscribe to notification now sending me information. And as they send it to me, I will make it into a lead magnet type deal and then give it to you guys so that y'all can be using it, because I know typically like LegalShield doesn't create those kind of documents in the CDLP space. They just have our LegalShield CDL material that we use to go out and prospect, but they don't have any current affairs that's happening, break inspections, these kind of warnings, stuff like that. So I'm just doing it so that you guys have something, and then I'll send it out the same way. I'll always email it out, and then I'll also drop it on the Facebook page. That way you guys can click on it, and then you guys can just, to personalize it yourself, and then you have it to send out to your prospects. Now, again, you could be using this flyer, guys, all the way up until December 1st of 2022. Because that's how long they have to get this stuff in order, depending on what towers they're using. So just keep in mind, you don't want to use it in the wrong way. You don't want to use it in an outdated fashion. So when it gets further into this, you're going to have to ask specific questions. So if it's somebody that you're already talking to, so again, let's take Jim Hicks and say he owned a logistics company. And I contact him, I may say, hey, what towers are you guys using for your ELDs, with your company? And he may say, oh, no, we use Sprint. If it's not June 30th yet, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and shoot you over a 2-page document just letting you know about the changes with the 3G to 5G, just in case you don't know. And I'll send that to him. I'm not going to just generally send it to him thinking that it's going to apply if they're not using a tower that it hasn't happened yet, if that makes sense. So again, asking questions and sending people information that really does educate them will help you close the deal when you're out here talking and prospecting. So we've got to give, right? And that's kind of old school, get the go-giver and all these other things that they'll tell you, right? You always provide before, you always add value before you look to make a sale. That's just how I run my business, and I do attraction marketing that way. I give, right? So when you go to my YouTube channel, I got hundreds of videos on there, right? On information on all types of things. There's some people charging for some of the information that I have free on my YouTube channel. Why? Because you always have to give away things, because then it attracts people and they say, oh, okay, this is some good information. I know that the person knows what they're talking about in this specific field. And then they'll trust you a little bit better because they kind of got a sample, right? You guys know how it works when you go to Sam's Club or Costco, whichever one of them it is that has the samples out there. I mean, that's part of their business model. Right? They out there letting you sample stuff, and then you sample it, it tastes good, and then you buy it out the store. So you give people something for free and then turn them into a customer, convert them over. So wanted to make sure you guys had that flyer, understood what it meant. Don't spend too much time trying to wrap your head around all the science and the guys, this technical stuff. It doesn't really matter to you and me. All that should matter to you is for you to understand this. These dates on this flyer represent represent the dates that those internet services, right? Those towers, those companies that provide internet, they at the time that you see on this flyer, they will no longer offer 3G. So if the customer you're talking to, the prospect you're talking to, if their ELD is on one of these, which it has to be on one of these, where you see below it, it says many other carriers like Cricket, Boost, Straight Talk, and Lifeline mobile services. So they got to be on something. Whichever one they're on, eventually it's going to no longer offer 3G, and they need to make sure that their ELD machine is in compliance. If not, they're going to be getting cited all over the country when they're driving around. They get pulled over when those officers can't properly read their ELD machine. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Sharanda, see if she has anything to add to this as well. And then we're going to do some Q&A and just answer some questions that you guys may have about this or about anything in general as it comes to the CDLP space. Sharanda?
No, but this is a good document for those people that focus on the small companies. This is a lot of them use like Verizon. Verizon has an ELD system that a lot of these small carriers use. So so if you're talking to a company that has, I don't know, just whatever you consider small, most likely just ask them what ELD system they use. A lot of them do use the Verizon ELD system. You'll see that a lot in your smaller companies. So this is a good document to use as well. And a lot of them do use their phone, especially these guys that have box trucks. A lot of them don't have ELDs in their trucks, so they're using their cell phones and things like that to for their GPS and tracking. So if you just have a little conversations, just start to inquire about some things, you'll learn that those are your hot prospects right there. So definitely make sure you use this document. So appreciate that, Dunbar, for bringing that, because these are the types of things that are happening. A lot of stuff is happening in transportation. So for those that follow the news, you want to make sure you tap in, because it's a lot of legislation going on for transportation, and a lot of people are just trying to get it all together. So that's all really I have to say about that, Dunbar. Thank you for creating a document and sharing it with the community.
Oh, no, you got it. I know Randy mentioned in the chat that he tried to download it. I mean, he tried to print it off and the bottom was cut off. I don't know what happened there. I couldn't tell you on your end how that happened. It's 8.5 by 11, so it's letter size. So it should be the same as any other PDF that you would download. So I'm not sure why that happened. I don't know whether it was on your side or something else. So if anybody else has that problem, let me know. Because if somebody else has that problem, that means that it's a universal thing versus it being just one person that had that problem. So let me know. I saw a couple of other questions in the chat here. And Sharon, I'm gonna open up to you too in a second. I'm sorry about that. I meant to tell you, ask you, did you have anything to say? So could be my computer. Okay, right. So Randy, just let me know. And Wanda, you said, do I make an appointment with me to learn how to do lead magnet? Yeah, it's best to make an appointment. So if you go to my appointment link and click on it, when you it's going to ask you what you're making the appointment for, just let me know that that's what it's for, and I'll show you how to set that up as a lead magnet, so that you can collect information as you're doing that. So that's how you can do that. And I think so. It was showing on my screen, so I guess at the time, Bob, it wasn't showing, but it's
on the bed
showing now. So if you have questions, Bob Fraser, just let me know. And Sharon, I'm gonna go ahead and open up to you real quick.
No, I don't have anything to add,
Sharon?
Robert. This is excellent information to definitely start sharing sooner than later with potentials and existing. That's what I'll be doing tomorrow morning. Thank you for this document. And Jody just posted a question. What is your calendar link, or whatever do you use, Robert?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I use Acuity, and I will put that link in the chat real quickly so you guys will have it. So if anybody wants to needs to set an appointment, just gonna click that link and set it. So I will throw that in here. Give me about 30 seconds. I'll have it in here. Any more questions about anything?
Nothing else. Family, if you all have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat or raise your computerized hand on the screen. If it's too much to type, it's down in the reactions section at your footnote to the bottom. I have one hand to be raised thus far.
And
that would be Wanda.
Please, guys, if you have questions, ask them, because y'all need to stop acting like y'all had no questions. Then y'all be texting me and emailing me all day long, asking me questions. And then y'all get on this call and act like y'all had no questions. So y'all need to ask y'all questions, or I'm going to stop answering them offline if y'all can't ask them online.
I have a question.
It's better when you ask them online, because now if there's 10 people that have that same question, then we answer it for 10 people at one time. So it's definitely better if you ask online. So somebody was just talking. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
Wanda has a question, Robert. She had her hand raised.
Oh, how do
Okay,
we
Wanda.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. a company that I've been talking to for a couple minutes now. He was in conditional, did all of this stuff. He says that he's going to get a new DOT number and have a new company name. Will the points that his drivers may have, and he keeps those drivers, will they go on his new company safety stats? Because I think I remember when I was working, I had given Sharanda a company, and they lost their contract with Amazon because of points. But how does that work? He said he's just kicking this one to the curb and he's starting a new company. How does that work? As far as
that's a Sharanda Ivy question. I'm gonna let Sharanda. I think Sharanda can probably answer that one.
Well, Wanda, so when they fill out for their authority, their DOT number and their MC number, they have 21 days before that is approved. And what they're doing in that 21 days is investigating that information that they put in, which goes back to their social, their tax ID number. It traces back to the person who is supposedly the owner. And so a lot of people don't understand that, yeah, he may get another DOT number and they might set up the company. Just depends on the information he puts in the system. But what happens is that he will use those same drivers, those same trucks, which is still him, and it'll trace back to him. It might not happen in the first year, but all he's doing is he's bringing those bad habits to a new number. And like I said, if they approve the new number, it may take a while for that to catch up with him. But the first 3 years of them getting their authority is a probation period anyway. But they have 21 days in the beginning to investigate, to see, because it's a question within that process says that, are you affiliated or have been affiliated with another company? And so whether he answered yes or no will depend on, but he really doesn't supposed to do that. But do they do it? Yes. A lot of them get caught. They do.
Is that something that I can refer him to you? Because I remember when I had sent you the other.
Yeah, that's fine. That's something we could talk about on the thing. But
all right.
That's nothing to do with our plan though, so we can talk offline about that.
Okay.
But
all right.
Just FYI, that's
okay. Yeah. I want, because I remembered and I said, well, you know what, I wanted to run that by you. Thank you.
Great question. Robert, you want to expound on that or not? We'll go over to Johanna. She was able to find her hand how to raise it. Go ahead, Johanna.
Hey, this is Jonna, and I have a question. I was looking up several different DOT numbers, and obviously I can't call these people, but I was just wondering, what is the difference between out of service, inactive, not or authorized? What makes them different?
That's another Sharanda Ivy question.
So not authorized, not authorized means that the company is not authorized to operate. So none of their trucks should be on the road. Out of service, if it's in big red, out of services, and that's where you said that their status is out of service, that means they're out of business.
Okay. And inactive?
Is inactive. If they're not active, they can't operate. They're not authorized to operate for whatever reason. It could be a lot of reasons, but they don't supposed to have any trucks on the road at the time either.
Okay.
Not authorized means they're not authorized to operate either. So they're kind of like the same thing, but out of service means normally they're out of business. So not authorized and inactive, they still could not necessarily be out of business, but they have issues where they can't be on the road yet right now. But out of service a lot of times mean that they're out of business. Like,
Okay. And then where do we check? Because I couldn't find it. Where do we check if someone else is if LegalShield is they already have LegalShield?
Have you been group certified?
Yes.
Have you went to employee benefits training?
Yes, I did employee benefits.
Okay, within that training, they should have mentioned, but what you do is you can email group services, or you can call to check on the company. You should have the company's name, their telephone number, and their address for them to check to see if the company is already active.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great question. Thank you, dear. I have a question from Valeria Hamilton. She says, why would the CSA score for vehicles go up, but nothing new has been added to the report?
Man, it's Sharanda day today.
I know, man. So we're rolling that one over again.
I really can't say. I don't really know. I can't really say. I will say this though. Those type of questions, when you don't really have the answer, maybe you're digging a little too deep. Knowing that they went up, start asking more questions, right? So if you don't see it there in black and white, have conversations with them, and maybe they'll let you know some more information. But whether or not it's, nothing changed, just ask them what happened, and if it went up, just know that if it's over the national average or it's close to it, they need our product. So stick with those things right there. Don't get so deep into it. Because when you can't answer them in front of your prospect, then you lose that credibility. So I wouldn't dig so deep in it, because I don't know, Valeria. I tell you right now, I don't know, especially without looking at it. But I don't know. And if I didn't know, all I do know in that equation is that the numbers went up. So that's a plus for us, because they can benefit from our product.
And Sharanda, also, another thing too is like, now, did you pull a company and see they went up and saying that nothing happened? Or did you talk to the company and they're saying that their CSA score went up and nothing happened? Like, where did that information come from? Was that your own investigation, or you talked to them and they said that?
That's my own investigation. And as a matter of fact, Sharanda is one of the companies that we did a three-way on.
Well, the thing about it is too, it could be, you have to remember that you're only looking at the company snapshot. You're not looking at the driver's record, and the driver has two. So, and if the driver's numbers went up, it could be something on his MVR or his PSP. You're not looking at the driver's record, you're looking at the company's record. Okay. which the driver numbers affects the company score, but you're not looking at the you're not looking at the driver's reports, you're looking at the company's report. So just because you don't see it and he doesn't see it, it's probably on the driver's report.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And Sharanda, could it also be a warning that somebody got that made it go up?
Warnings go on the report. Warnings, they go on the report too. But she's saying that she doesn't see it on the company's report. But a lot of people think they're looking at the driver's stuff there too, but they're not looking at the driver's record. They're looking at the company's record. So that could be the reason why they don't see every violation there, because they're looking at the company's report.
Gotcha.
And again,
good stuff.
Don't get too deep.
Anymore?
You're drowned out there. Just saying.
Yeah. And no, and I think that's one of the most important things too, though. I think that's one of the most important things, though, Sharanda, what you're saying is, because it's a lot of people that do, like, because I get calls and people will say, like, I think somebody was saying the other day, it was a young lady online saying the other day that hey, they're self-insured. So how do we prospect them if they're self-insured? Because what we gonna say to them if they self-insured and if their safety score gets bad? Well, DOT, we still got an issue with DOT. So the idea is we want their safety, but they want their safety score to be good so that they're not being put out of business, getting audited, all of that stuff. Insurance plays a part, but that's not the only thing. But don't get too deep. Just look and see if their score is bad, right? Or higher than national or prospect. I wouldn't dig too deep into that either, because when you start getting into technical stuff, again, where you start is where you have to finish. And if you start getting to all of that in the beginning, they're going to be expecting you to be doing lawyer legal stuff all in the midst later on too. And that's going to become a problem for you when you're running your business and you're trying to talk to new prospects and enroll new companies. And you got these guys calling you about this technical legal stuff that you're really not going to want to deal with. So don't use it to close the deal, because then they're going to expect you to do it throughout the relationship, if that makes sense. So just try not to get so deep into it so that you start seeming like you're more the lawyer than a representative that's enrolling them in a product. So just keep that in mind when you guys out in the field, so that you don't hinder your business by doing what the lawyer should be doing. So just turn it over to them and let them deal with that. So any more questions, Sharon?
And you have to understand too, guys, that a lot of these people, if you have conversations with them, they're not educated on a lot of the laws and stuff. And not that we have to be educated on it either. We have to show the fact that, well, maybe if your driver, had this plan at that particular time, maybe they could have called into the, law firm and had the law firm, to assist them. We have to remember that we have the CSA consultation is a part of the membership. So, you say, hey, your driver, he has this plan, he could get consultation on his CSA points. So, again, knowing the service, knowing the benefits and how it can help them. So you don't have to answer those questions. You can assure them that this product here will allow you to, get your driver to get that consultation and get it explained to him. That's a part of the service. So instead of us trying to figure out how to explain these points to them, they can have that the driver can have that consultation with the law firm as part of the service. Okay?
Great job, Ms. Ivy.
All right.
I don't see any other questions in the chat at this time, and no one has their hand raised. If you have a question, please come on mute and ask a question. Ursula, come on mute, dear heart. And
let me see which one. I forgot I got to turn my camera around. There we go. My question is, I'm going to be on the Blitz tomorrow, and I plan on using this as an icebreaker. How would I go about doing that if I'm not able to speak to the, I forgot who they are, the safety manager or the owner?
So for me, I use that kind of stuff actually as a means to get the information. So say Ursula, say you answered the phone when I called the company and you were the gatekeeper or the secretary or whatever they're titled that person. If I'm trying to get to the safety manager, I may use it as a way to get to the safety manager. So I may say, hey, this is Robert Dunbar. I'm calling from Oceanside Benefits Group. We have a commercial drivers division. I wanted to speak with the safety manager about talking to you guys about some issues with our safety score that we took a look at. Is it a good time to speak to whoever the safety manager is? And you may say, well, he's in a meeting. I can take a message. I say, well, I also got something I need to send him based on the new Fmcsa warning. Is it okay if you give me his email address so I can shoot this to him? And then I can kind of correspond with him that way. That's a way for me to try to get the information, to be able to email him and get him on my email list to send more information to him, to either try to get in or get whatever. Now, as the gatekeeper, you may be that person that says, well, just send it to me, right? Because I know you've heard it before, right? Just send it to me and I'll send it to them, right? So something that I use to get around that sometimes. If I say, I want to send something to the safety manager, the safety manager says, I want to send it to the safety manager, and the gatekeeper says to me, hey, look, if you just send it to me, I'll send it to them. I'll say, okay, well, I can shoot that warning to you, but I also got some safety management stuff that I want to send to them as well, because I pulled your score and I don't know if they want everybody seeing the information on the company. So I don't want to send that to you. I would rather send it directly to the safety manager because it's some information I pulled that I want to discuss with them. And I don't know if it's okay to just send it to anybody's email. Anyway, you can have them or her contact. Does that make sense? Sometimes that works, sometimes they don't, but that's just another angle that I'll take when I'm dealing with that rebuttal, because sometimes that gatekeeper is doing their job, which is what they're there for. And we got to keep that in mind, because sometimes we get frustrated. And it's like, you know, as a company owner myself, you got to have a gatekeeper. The gatekeeper's job is to keep people away from there that's going to waste that person's time. They got a job to do. So our job is to maneuver past that person, but don't get nasty with them. Not that you would, but don't get nasty with them because they're trying to stop you from getting to the safety manager, because that's what they're paying them to do. So you've got to provide that you've got added value so that they do let you get to them. When you can provide added value for that safety manager, and that gatekeeper feels like your information for that gatekeeper, for that safety manager is worth them having, that's when you're going to get in touch with that person. So we got to know that that's part of the process. Companies have to have gatekeepers to prevent you from, because that safety manager can't just be taking random calls and emails all day long, because now they're not handling the safety stuff with your company, if that makes any sense. So just keep that in mind too when you're on the blitz and you're making your calls.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely.
Great question.
Anything to add to
Thank you. Going back one, Felipe said that he came in late. Where do you find the link again for the flyer?
Oh, the flyer link is on the Facebook page. But while we're on here, now that you just mentioned that, I can actually throw it in the link. I can throw it in the link. I can throw it in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So I'll just throw it in the chat too, which I didn't even think to do all this time. So thank you, whoever asked that question. Appreciate that question, because I didn't even think. It is on the Facebook page and it did come in the email, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in the chat real quick.
Okay, and Jim Hicks responded. He said that he printed out the document and the bottom of the flyer cut off again. Is there a problem? Is this capitalized?
Yeah, Jim, that's my guy. I know.
We love it.
So Jim, I'll check and see on my side to figure out what it could be. I did check it when I saw you, because I did see your comment in there. I did check it just to make sure I did have it at the right size, and it's showing US letter size 8.5 by 11. So it should be getting to you all when you download it. It should be downloading as an 8.5 by 11 or 8. So it should be printing off the whole thing. I don't know why it's not printing off the whole thing when it's the same size as any other 8.5 by 11 that you may download from anybody else, any other PDF. So I'll pose that question to Canva where I create my documents and see whether or not they know why that's happening, and then I'll be able to get back with people on that. So I apologize for that, but you can still okay. So Tammy's saying they printed okay for her. All right. So, and that's what I needed to hear too, that somebody else is able to print it. So if anybody can correctly, then it's not the document of mine. And I'm not trying to name for it. I'm just trying to let you guys know. If anybody can print it off correctly, then it is not the document, because everybody's downloading the same document. So check the settings on your printer to make sure that it's set for it to print an 8.5 by 11. Because sometimes your printer might be on the wrong setting. So I would check that as well to see if that could be keeping it from printing. And then I'll print it off myself here at home, because I have a printer right here in my office. I'll print it off here with my printer and see how it prints as well, and if it's something that could be adjusted. But I'll work on that for you guys. So thanks, Rose and Tammy, for letting us know that you guys printed it off correctly. That way I know that some people are, some people aren't.
Yes, thank you for that, Robert. Anthony gave us a thumbs up in between taking a drink and showing us the the form as well. Pat Akers asked, what if they keep asking, what company are you with? Thanks.
It's not a secret. LegalShield.
Okay,
So
and
LegalShield.
Sharanda, you can take it. Oh, there you go, Sharanda. No, Sharanda,
No.
go ahead. You can go ahead. And then Sharon, if you got something you want to throw in, you can too as well.
It's not. It's not a secret, guys. We're with LegalShield. It's just how you position to say that. We've talked about this so many times in the past. It's just how you. What's your approach? LegalShield is the company. If you send any information, it's gonna say LegalShield. Unless you're sending out stuff like what Dunbar is sending out. These informational pieces, but All our flyers say LegalShield. If they get the service, it's LegalShield. So it's however you position. You don't have to be afraid to say LegalShield. That's the company. Is it, I mean, what is it about when they ask you that you don't say LegalShield, Pat? I mean, you don't want to say LegalShield? Or?
No, I was just looking at some of the previous videos, and I think it was referenced that sometimes they think we're with the Department of Transportation or something. So I'm just asking the question, what if they ask, especially if you come across like you are with the Department of Transportation, and then they ask you, you know, what company are you with? I'm curious.
Right. Yeah, when you're having that conversation, any trucking company, they're always nervous about DOT. They're always worried about that. They're worried about audits. They're worried about whatever. And when you start to ask those type questions, in my experience, they always want to know, are you with DOT? I don't lead with LegalShield. I just never, you know, I learned to not do that because I don't want LegalShield to walk in the door before me. That's why I don't dress out in LegalShield. And I don't lead with LegalShield. I've closed deals without them knowing what the company was. They were so impressed about what the services could do from the company that they'll say, well, what company was that again? You know, LegalShield never came up. It was what the company could do, you know, and so it's just your approach. I like to ask a lot of questions, share how we can help. If I have to say who I'm with, you know, LegalShield Commercial Division, because a lot of people, if they've heard of LegalShield, you know, they heard just one division of the company, and most of the time it's our personal legal plan. And, you know, whether they were commercial drivers or business owner prior to hearing about LegalShield, or, you know, some of our associates just tend to not really promote the CDL plan. And so it could have been a driver and somebody sold them a personal legal plan. And so but everybody haven't had a great experience with LegalShield. So you have to be careful because what you don't want to do is, because we know that we have a phenomenal product if people just get a good presentation and learn exactly what we do. So that's the goal when we're out there. So when the word LegalShield comes out, we can make it where they receive it great. So that's my take.
And what I would tell you guys is I'm a person that believes in like branding yourself as a company. I train on that all the time. You guys know that I feel that way, because at the end of the day, you have to represent yourself, because you don't know what the last LegalShield person said to them. You don't know if they looked at some reviews online. You got to make them buy you, right? You're always selling yourself when you walk in the front door. And remember this, at the end of the day, and I had this conversation just the other day when somebody was like, well, is LegalShield gonna have a problem with me saying that I'm another company and I offer LegalShield products? I said, no, LegalShield don't call you LegalShield. As a matter of fact, if they call your voicemail and you say, I'm LegalShield, they'll call you and correct you and tell you to put independent associate on there. If you open up a Facebook page and put that you're LegalShield, but don't put independent associate of, they will inbox you and let you know. They make it clear that you are an independent associate of LegalShield. You are not LegalShield. So when I go out and talk to companies or I call companies, I use my company name because I'm in LegalShield as a company. So there's no slick game to that. I'm in LegalShield as Oceanside Benefits Group. So when I call a company, I say, this is Robert Dunbar, Oceanside Benefits Group. I work with the commercial division. When that person asks me about my products, I say, I offer LegalShield products through my company, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm offering LegalShield's products through my company. I have a business, and I took my business and I got involved with LegalShield so that I can offer their products. I signed some agreements and some paperwork so that I can do such, right? So I'm able to say it that way because I want them to buy me, because I know the service works. But if the first thing they hear is LegalShield and they heard something bad before, now they're going to shut you down. If they have a chance to talk to you for a few minutes first and get a little bit of trust in you, now again, they're going to see LegalShield documents. The application is going to be LegalShield. When I send over my interactive flyer, it's going to have LegalShield on it. I got my member perks flyer has LegalShield on it. All of my stuff that I send to companies have LegalShield on it. It's LegalShield products. That's why I make sure I say I offer LegalShield through my company. I know that they're going to know it's LegalShield. I'm going to enroll them under LegalShield, but I want them to first understand who is going to represent them as a rep, so that they understand that I'm here to make sure that you have a good experience with this product. So you can do that, but don't ever make them think that you're DOT. What I mean by that, if you know that they're thinking you're DOT, don't let them believe that you're DOT. Like, make sure that if you sense that, or if they say to you, so are you with DOT? Like, if you know that they believe in that, don't let them believe that, so you can, because obviously you're gonna have to come clean on that on some point. You about to close the deal, right? So don't let them believe that. Just make sure that if they're scared and they're like, hey, if you scare them into getting the safety manager in front of you, when that safety manager get in front of you, we talked about this before, let them know who you are. Like Sharana said, commercial division of LegalShield. I say commercial division of Oceanside Benefits Group, or whatever your company is. And then say, hey, I'm here to make sure you understand, right? And then go ahead and do your thing, or do Lamar Reynolds script, however you're going to set that up. But certainly don't tell them you DOT. If there are questions about whether you're DOT or a part of DOT, don't skirt around that question. No, I'm not with DOT. I'm trying to make sure that you don't end up in a situation with DOT. I'm Robert Dunbar, Oceanside Benefits Group. We put your safety score. I put the safety scores of companies in this area because I'm working this area to make sure your safety score stays comparable to the national average, so that you don't end up in an audit. Does that make sense? That's how I'm going to answer that question if they ask me that question. I'm not going to make them think I'm DOT. So that's kind of where I go with that.
And Miss Janice Johnson just
We good?
asked. Miss Janet Johnson just asked, what do I lead with? Well, when I lead with that, I'm the commercial legal rep in the area. I don't say with LegalShield, I just leave it in the area. And, I'm, and if they might ask within that is, what company? And I say LegalShield commercial division. I don't ever say LegalShield. I say LegalShield commercial division. I always put that commercial division on there. Because like I said, if they've heard of LegalShield, and it's not always that they've heard, a lot of people don't know that LegalShield has a commercial product. They've never heard of it. Never. So I make sure I say commercial division, because I know over half of the people that I talked to didn't know we had that product. So, but I don't say I'm with, I don't say LegalShield. I say I'm the commercial legal rep in the area. And that's just something I had to learn, because I had to start picking up the phones, and we have to think about where we're at right now with spam calls and things like that. So I just had to be creative. And so, and that's just what I came up with years ago. I'm commercial legal rep in the area. I want to speak with the person who handles your DOT violations and CSA scores. And I leave it at that. Normally they'll tell me who they are, or they'll get who I need to speak with. And then I start having a conversation with them. So all that information is in some of the calls that we used to do. The conference calls, everything that I say and everything that I do, I still do it that way. I ask a lot of questions. I still do that. But, I try hard not to say LegalShield until I have had conversations. And some of the associates on the phone can tell you, and this is more recent, that we're just talking to prospects. We're talking to DMs, and all of a sudden they'll say, oh, I got something like that, or something. It's been 2 companies in the last, week, 3 companies in the last week. And the DM that we talked to, their company had LegalShield. They weren't using it. They haven't seen a rep in over 4 years. That's what we got out there. So we have to ask a lot of questions. And the thing about it is, you can look at people's numbers and see whether they're using a product. They might have LegalShield and they're not using it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to have questions, and then that's where we have to educate them. So if they haven't seen a rep in a few years, you email corporate, say, hey, I met a prospect today that had our product, so they haven't seen a representative, and corporate will look into that and see if that representative is still working the business. But they'll take care of that client, you know, because you can't do anything with that group because it's a group on the books. So if you run into that, you make sure you connect with corporate and let them know that, hey, they haven't seen their rep in 4 years. Just want to make sure that this person is serviced, because this lady was interested. This gentleman was interested in our product after hearing what our product actually does. So that, I hope that helps, Ms. Johnson.
Awesome, awesome. It looks like Robert has lost his microphone, and we don't have. Oh no.
I think I'm on
You
here
just
twice.
spoke, so it knows you didn't mute your microphone. Oh, I was looking at your second computer. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's good. No, but we good though. I think we answered all the questions. 9:40. So I think we good.
Yes, that's correct. No more questions at this time. Awesome job, family.
Thank you, Sharon,
Anthony.
for dealing with the questions for us and pulling them out and putting them out here for us. So, and we appreciate you guys all being on again, of course, every week, like you guys always are. Thanks for being on. We're gonna continue to get some documents to you guys that you can use in the field like this, so that you can kind of get a compilation of stuff to use. Of course, that doesn't mean don't use LegalShield stuff. You know what the LegalShield stuff is for. It's to go in there, close your deal, all this stuff that we have for LegalShield that they put together for us works very well. We just want current stuff. So when something's going on, we can spark the attention and say, hey, look, this is what's happening right now. And we know LegalShield will put a lot of information out for that reason with us. But because we understand that stuff, we can do it ourselves and put it out there so that we can run our own business. We're business owners, so some days we got to take into our own hands to make sure we've got material to use out in the field. So build that prospect list up, guys, so that you can get on those blitzes on Tuesdays. And remember, I want everybody to try to do an exercise. If you're not doing this already, if you're not doing any more calls than just the blitz every week, I would encourage you, I challenge you to take one more day of the week, and make calls for 2 hours like you're doing on a blitz day. Because if you're doing a blitz right now and you're having activity with that and making something happen, then that means that if you did another one, you could double your activity, guys. If you're only doing 1 day a week and then you do another day, now you're doubling your activity. So I would say try to do that. And then once you get comfortable doing that, slide a third day in there. Do it 1 day at a time. You don't have to go from 1 day to 5 days, but try 1 day at a time, guys. You got to increase your activity. If you want to increase the income you're making, you got to increase your activity. So if you can do 1 day blitz and you can see value in doing that, then do 2 days. Do the other one on your own. You don't need LegalShield to have another one set up. They set the example, do another one on your own, block another day and say, I'm gonna do for 2 hours, I'm gonna make phone calls on my own. Get you an accountability partner, a workout partner, and then y'all make calls and y'all keep in contact with each other for that 2 hours while y'all making calls. So I challenge everybody to do that. Next week, I'll ask to see if anybody else has done that, found a workout partner to do that with, and see if, because again, 1 more day will double your activity if you're only doing 1 day right now. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and now I'm gonna turn it over to Sharon to see if she got anything for you guys before we close out.
I know we got the blitz tomorrow. Make sure you jump on the blitz. Get your activity in. That's just a phenomenal thing that they're continuing to do. We do have the upcoming training. It's on Saturday. So make sure you register. If you haven't registered, it's $49 for everyone. So you want to make sure you get registered no later, I think, than 3 p.m. Central Time on Friday. No walk-ins. None of that on Saturday. So make sure you get registered so you don't miss out. The trainers for this month will be Alan Roman, which is our top producer in the CDLP space, running CDLP combo plans. And we have Chris Seeley, who's a 50K ring earner and a state trainer down in I think she's in Texas and Arizona and couple of other states down there. And she's, you know, a CDLP state trainer as well. And so both of them have been training. I think Mr. Ray Hall from the partnering law firm will be on as well. So, you know, if you have, or you want to get back on, get back on. Remember, when you go out into the field and do activity and come back to the training, you always learn something different. So, and you get these tips from the law firm, which is phenomenal, where you can use as stories. You know, everybody want to know how people have used our plan. So, and Mr. Ray Hall likes to tell how he's helped somebody since the last time he's been on. So he brings good stories for you to get to use back in the field. So get registered, get your team registered. It's not free, it's $49 for new people as well. But we want them to get on because everybody knows somebody that drives commercially. And so you don't want to leave any money on the table. So make sure you get everybody you know connected and get them signed up for the training on Saturday. So with that, that's all I have to say. Take advantage of all the incentives that's on the table. You know, if you're in solutions, you can go to Maui with hit and earn. So you don't have to compete against anybody but yourself. So it's a lot of bonuses if you haven't opened a new group. We still got that incentive out there. Work with a field trainer, you double your profits. So so get trained. If you haven't got group certified and you're on the call and you've been CDL certified, I encourage you to go get group certified, because you can open a group in CDLP, you know, with just one employee. So make sure you tap into all that. So with that, you know, that's it I have. Thank you guys for being on, and we look forward for all your success.
Good night, everybody.
Awesome
Good night.
job.
Thank you.
all.
Good night, all.
Say,
Thank you very
thank
much.
a
everyone.
veteran when you see him. Don't forget
See you
Veterans
guys
Day.
next week.
Good night, everyone.
I'm a
Good
veteran.
night.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for
Congratulations.
everyone's
Thank you.
service.
I know some veterans.
I'm a veteran, you know me.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
That's what it's
Happy
about.
Veterans Day. Huh?
Thank you. God bless you all on Veterans Day and all the veterans.
Happy Veterans Day.
Awesome.
Thank y'all for y'all service.
Yes.
Thank
yes,
you.
yes.
I know it's tough. My son's serving now.
Mm.
It's a good
night,
training
all.
ground.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him thank you.
They sure keeping them out of my pocket.
Huh? Say what?
I said the military sure keeping them out of my pocket.
Oh, okay. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.